Hey,
Bro.
how are you?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you feeling just waking up from sleep?
Oh, bro, I'm fighting a bit of the flu. Besides that, good night. Like when you work a rotating roster, bro, it's just constant fatigue. So you just
Yeah.
get used to it.
Yeah. What because yeah, you're doing a late night shift tonight?
Yeah. So with my roster at the hospital, we every fortnight we have to do a morning, an afternoon, and a night shift.
Yeah.
So it's just all over the place, and there's always overtime to pick up too.
Yeah.
So your sleep pattern's just it's fucked.
How do you find managing that? Well, that's a great first question. Like, how do you find like kind of manage like well, firstly, how long have you been doing that for? And then how do you kind of find managing that with like, being an athlete?
Well, I've been doing night shifts probably since I was 18 because I got a job at nightclubs as soon as I turned 18. But rotating roster wise, I think 4 years now, 4.5 years. It's horrible, bro. You can't manage it. All you can do is just push through. You're gonna feel shit. You're gonna feel tired. Like especially during prep. Like my hat goes off to everyone that preps or even off seasons on a rotating roster. Even night shift, bro. It's dreadful because sorry, the dogs just come in.
That's fine.
Um, you just can't recover as well as someone that like has a regular night's sleep like during the actual night.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just got to do it. Like I really enjoy my job. I wouldn't change it for the world. I do. So I work at the hospital. It's a rewarding job. It's a career. I got sick of bouncing at nightclubs, bro. Like people say, like, what do you do for work? And I'm like, oh, I'm a bounce. I'm like 27 now. I was too. I was like, I need. When I hit like 24, I was like, I need to get out of this. I
Yeah.
can't be bouncing at clubs my whole life. So I think it's a respectable career. And then I still work like festivals and concerts and stuff on the side. So I still get to have fun on the side and like see performers.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
no
It's a
complaints from me.
Yeah, it's a cool job. Like when I first got my job, my like first ever job, there was a lady that was working there, and she I think she was like 50, mid 50s, I think, and she just like literally she's like a staunch. She was like 5'3", 5'4", but she was like an aggressive like old lady, and like she started doing security because she was kind of like getting sick of the place and wanted to do something different. And she was like, when she got her like certificate and whatever and training done, and then she started getting some jobs. She was doing some weddings and then doing some like festivals and stuff like that. She said it was like so fun. She says like it's such a fun it's like until you actually do the job, you don't necessarily kind of like, I guess every moment has its ups and downs and like boring times. But she said sometimes like depending on the event or where you are that you're kind of doing it, like it is really enjoyable, like doing the security. So I thought like that was really interesting to hear. And then like now hearing you kind of say that, finding that balance, I guess, with a hospital and then like having the opportunity to do like music festivals and that.
Bro, you get so over dealing with psych patients, like because we work a lot in the mental health wards, and a lot of these people, like, yes, there's drug addicts, but there's people that just have mental health conditions. It's not their fault. So it's important to like remind yourself that like these people are put in a shit situation. It's not their fault, so you have to treat them with care as well. So if someone's like aggressive, it's not always their fault. So just treating them like shit isn't the right way to go about
Yeah.
it. And the longer I've done security, like the more chill I've got with everything. Like I'll rock up to an aggressive like patron at a venue or a patient, and they'll be like angry, and I'll just come in with like a nice, kind demeanor and be like, "Well, what are you mad about, bro? Like we're here to help you, not we're not here to fight." And then they instantly calm down. But like when you're new to it, you go in there, the adrenaline's pumping, you're like, "Oh, it's fight time." It's not fight time, it's just time to talk it out. And you
Yeah,
get
yeah,
sick
yeah.
of you get sick of fighting with people too. Fighting's cool when you first like start. It's like you go home and you're like, oh yeah, I punched on with this guy. But after you've done it like 100 times, you're like, oh, my elbows are sore, my wrists are sore. I think I strained my pec,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
fuck yeah. So
It's kind
yeah,
of like that hype dies down a bit. It gets like old quick.
yeah, and like verbal de-escalation is always better.
Yeah.
Like you don't, and like I said before, like this person, it might not be their fault, they're just having a really bad day, and now you're gonna take like you're gonna hurt them, like nah, like just make like improve their day, don't ruin their day,
Yeah.
because this is gonna like ruin your own day.
That's such a good mentality to have. It's like so true. Most like I guess negative or aggressive people, nine times out of ten, can be solved through verbal, just like calming everyone, just calming down, like kind of assessing the situation. Nothing, you like going in and escalating it further does like not always help at all. So it's cool to kind of hear you have like that mindset and that's kind of like grown over time because I 100% agree. Like kindness first and then violence, if it's done onto you.
Yeah, last resort. Because, bro, a lot of the time you rock up, someone's worked up. They just want to be heard, you
Yeah.
know? As soon as someone says, "Oh, what's wrong? Can you tell me?" Like, then they're like, "Oh, I'll tell you what's wrong," and then you sort it out. But if you rock up and you're like, "Nah, like, fuck you," like,
Yeah.
obviously you're gonna punch on,
Yeah.
you know?
What do you think's been like the hardest thing between dealing with, I guess, someone who's like intoxicated when you're doing like the clubs and then someone compared to, I won't say like you said, like the hospital, but like whether someone who's just maybe worked up and they're not intoxicated, like do you kind of approach them the same? Like do you have to approach an intoxicated person slightly different?
Yeah, it's a lot of patience with intoxicated people because a lot of the time, like, if you're working in a venue, someone's intoxicated, you like look like you've had a bit much to drink, time to call it a night. They're like, "Oh, I haven't had much to drink." It's always the same story.
Yeah.
They just want to be heard. Their friend might come over, they're fine with me, and then you just have to explain to them, like, like, I'm not the bad guy here. Like, if your friend falls over and hits their head, one, they're going to be hurt, and two, the venue gets a fine. So it leaves us all like in
Mm,
trouble here. And I say to them, like, you're more than welcome to, like, if I feel like they're not too intoxicated, I say, have an hour break, go get a kebab, enjoy the rest of your night, and then come back and I'll assess you. So it's just finding like a healthy medium, like, of what the appropriate course of action. Sometimes people are blind. You're like, look, bro, you're going to call it a night. Come back next week, like, it's cool.
that's
You're
so
good with
good.
us. Yeah.
I can respect that. I respect that. Well, let's kind of before we kind of get into all the bodybuilding stuff, I just also kind of wanted to ask you more about China because like me and my partner, we had just done like Japan and Korea, and we were in Bali, and then we were trying to decide whether we like stop in China along the way, and it ended up not happening. So I'm intrigued to kind of the first time being able to speak to someone who's like I guess just recently been. How did that whole experience kind of go about?
So if I were to sum up the total trip, like, China is a must. You know, the Great Wall was amazing.
Yeah,
It's a massive culture shock. But the place where it's hard to pronounce the Chinese thing. It's like Zhang. It's like where they filmed Avatar.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
It's like Stairway to Heaven there, and there's tons of stuff in the city. It's the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my whole life. Like, the shock value you receive. Like, my dad asked me if I'd go back, and I was like, no, I wouldn't go back. But if you wanted to go, I would go with you just to show you that place
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
it's one of the places you have to see before you die.
That's cool.
And the Great Wall of China is really awesome too. Like, and the temperature's so odd. Like, it was -5 when we went there.
Mm.
It was so cold, and there was no snow on the ground at the time. There was no snow anywhere.
Oh, really?
And the when we were in Beijing, because we stayed at Beijing, and then you have to catch like a hour and a half cab to the Great Wall of China.
Hmm.
Um, Beijing's so intense, man. There's like blockades with military and
Oh,
police at
wow.
like every street. So you have to like scan your passport at every street to get to the next street.
That's
And then,
crazy.
yeah, it's so full on. And then we went to Tiananmen Square
Yeah.
because it's an important like cultural thing you got to see. But we had to get through maybe like three streets because we stayed really close to Tiananmen Square, and then the line to Tiananmen Square was like 3 hours. And man, it was like ridiculously cold. And the military there, I don't know what drugs they're taking or like, but they're enhanced for sure because they feel nothing, man. I had three jumpers on. It was the coldest I've ever felt in my life. And like, I've been in like the snow. There was no snow. It was just freezing, and there was a ridiculously cold, strong wind too.
Yeah.
And these guys were just wearing like a military shirt, military pants, standing on their post and emotionless. Like, the wind would hit me and I'd be like shaking
Yeah.
with like three jumpers. I'd be looking at them like trying to see just a small reaction and nothing.
Killers.
Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
That's
It's
fascinating.
all
That's so interesting. Like it's
it's
funny
a
that I've seen a few like different like vlogs of people in China and that, and I like would not have known that about the passport. Like that's insane that you got to kind of from get to street in what would you say
it's
Beijing?
it's just in Beijing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah, because Beijing was the last place that we went to.
Yeah.
So we thought like China was pretty chill. But then we went to Beijing and we were like, oh my God,
It's
this is
like no, it's a
crazy.
complete 180.
Yeah, yeah. Like we understand now, like what when people say like authoritarian state, but yeah, it's
Yeah, yeah.
awesome. It's a massive culture shock. Like, it's good to see. The only downside is, um, the food. It's not nutritious. Like if you weren't a bodybuilder, you wouldn't care because there's not much protein in each meal. But it's just a lot of the food's hard to stomach because they don't have the, I guess the like same like sanitation laws that we do.
Hmm.
Like and in Japan, they have food on the street, right? But the it's like in winter, so it kind of stays good. Whereas in China, the weather's so odd, man. So Beijing was freezing, Shanghai was hot, and then the Avatar Mountains place was like medium. But it's just crazy to me how we were walking around. It was 16 degrees, but it was a hot 16 degrees.
Yeah.
Like I was just wearing a shirt and shorts. But then when we went to Beijing, I had to like layer up like 3 layers.
So
The
fascinating.
Yeah,
I like that. That was interesting too for us though. Like when we left Japan, like when we went to South Korea, it was like it got colder, and then like I guess everyone had kind of said like Bali's like kind of like really really hot, and so like going from like kind of those two countries that were similar to go to Bali, like I was just like really surprised at how much like hot it was, and like we were it was crazy. Like even when it rained, it still felt hot. So like I can only imagine like what you're saying, going to China and being in three different areas and it just going up and down from being hot to freezing cold to kind of like mild.
what I can say about Bali and China is how the poverty in Bali is like pretty bad,
Yeah.
So, like it's some parts of China remind me a lot of Bali, and in a sense, like the rich parts of China, like they're obviously really rich,
Yeah.
but the other parts, like just the regular like street stuff, it reminds me a lot of Bali, and like no disrespect to the like Balinese people, but when you are a poorer country, like stuff's not as clean, so the streets kind of smell bad, like kind
Yeah.
of sewage and stuff, and there was a lot of like odd smelling stuff in China.
Yeah.
And I find it hard to say this stuff without disrespecting the Chinese people, but
Yeah.
they'd be spitting on the ground hardcore. Like I was in a bus, like it's like kids, grandmas, like everyone. I was sitting in a bus, and this grandma just next to me just spits on the floor of the bus, and
That's
it's like
crazy.
this is gonna sound disgusting, but like it's not a regular spit. It's like when they like go
Oh,
like
like that hawk. Yeah,
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 the
yeah.
hawk. Like I was the first time I heard it, I was like, "What the hell?"
Nah,
But it happens so often. Like within like 60 seconds, it's like a loop on repeat. Someone does it again. Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you are. Someone's doing it. Like
that's
it's
crazy.
yeah. And but
That's so interesting.
the streets are like insanely clean though because like in the major cities because they got like just city staff cleaning everything. So
Yeah,
there's no rubbish on the street, but it's just spit
yeah,
constantly going through. Yeah. And there's no like I saw one like verbal argument in China that could have potentially led to like a fight, but everyone's really well behaved.
yeah,
But like outside my hotel, there's a military guy with a machine gun, so I wouldn't be like playing up either.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So basically, it's a lot more intense than what you may think it is, but then it's also chill. But then it's worth going because of like, because that's the one thing that you said. Like that's I got a bit disappointed by like I love Japan and like I was really 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 disappointed by Korea. Like I think I expected because of the bloom of like K beauty and K drama and like all of that that it would be more similar to Japan, but it ended up just kind of being you could see that it was still kind of progressing outside of a third world country and it's the same type of thing. Like sewage, it stunk everywhere. Everywhere where we were, it stunk. Like sometimes, like the streets would look clean, but it looked also underdeveloped. So it was just such a fascinating experience. But I was like left with not being impressed by anything. Where like that's why it's like I want to go to China because it's like you have all those really cool things like the Great Wall of China, like the Staircase to Heaven and things like that. I've heard like Vietnam's really similar too. They have like really cool landmarks like that because I just want to be wowed. I want to like see it and be like, damn, that's crazy.
It's definitely hard to beat Japan. Japan's peak. The biggest disappointing thing about China, though, if you think it's going to be similar to Japan, is the food.
Yeah,
Like the food in Japan is just like top tier. It can't be
yeah,
beaten. But like I said though, China's got like its perks. Like while Japan is visually beautiful, China is just like a next level.
yeah, yeah.
Like in some parts, 100%.
Where have you not been that you want to go to?
Like around the world.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
I'm I'm going to Korea in March with my partner. I'm really
Oh,
excited
okay.
for.
Well, I
Yeah,
just been
so
like shit talking it the
no,
whole
no, it's
time.
fine. Yeah, it's good. It's good. I like to hear what you have to say because
Yeah,
then I know what to expect. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
because when I went to China, bro, none of my friends have been to China.
Yeah.
It's just me, so I had no idea what to expect, and I went in with expectations of it's going to be Japan. Actually, one of my friends did go to China, and he said he liked it more than Japan. So I went with expectations like up to here,
Yeah.
and it just wasn't what I expected. But it didn't leave me disappointed. It was just different, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, but I did get food poisoning like 6 times over there, which is horrible. But
That's crazy. Like from the food vendors or just like the weather, like
just the food vendors, like I
yeah.
said, it's just not as clean. And I got a really really sensitive stomach, so in my like probably my off season, like unless I need to get calories in, I'll just eat clean because it's not worth my digestion to be messed
Yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, my digestion was just bad the whole time I was there, and I just the food vendors are, and I like to try new things. You know,
Mm.
I go to a country, I'm like, I'm gonna step out of my comfort zone and try foods I haven't tried before, you know. And every time I did, it was backfired, and it was happening every day. And every day I was like, you know what, today's gonna be the day. It's gonna be better, and
Yeah.
just backfired. But it's all right. Like,
That I reckon that's what happened to us. We went because we'd been to Japan and went all around for like a whole month. So we kind of, but when we first went, we got sick when we went to Yokohama and Tokyo. So we kind of didn't really get to experience it all. So then when we were doing this big trip, we wanted to kind of go back to Tokyo and experience. So we are like there for 4 days. And within the first day, we just got like so excited. So we kind of just like tried to do everything in one day. And then we went to like some vampire themed like cafe, like a restaurant dinner, and like I swear that it made us sick. Like we had that, woke up the next night, was like not feeling the best. Kind of got through the day, ate some stuff at the 7-Eleven, and then that following night ended up throwing up. And then literally I could not stomach anything properly until like 3 days into Korea. It was like horrible. It was so I know what you mean, like having that sensitive stomach where yeah, you want to try something new and then it just ends up like completely backfiring and then ruins the whole experience.
something weird though is I got a really sensitive stomach. My partner Brittany doesn't at all,
Yeah.
and my stomach was fine the whole time we were in Japan. And Brittany got food poisoning twice, and it
Okay.
was we did the all you can eat yakiniku. I
Yeah.
think we went like 6 nights in a row, and like on the sixth night, Brittany got sick and just started throwing up everywhere.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like I'm fine with meat. It's just other things that I just can't stomach.
It's just like one of those things, I guess. It's like genetics, really. It's just kind of how the dice rolls, really.
Yeah, but Asian countries, peak travel destination,
Mm,
100%.
mm. Couldn't agree more. Well, firstly, I just want to say congratulations on becoming a pro in FMG and also, winning the pro show. I just want to say congratulations on
Oh,
that.
thank you.
I think that's like, in my opinion, as someone that's like followed you for quite a while, it's like well deserving to kind of see you like nail everything and like get a win. So it's really, I just wanted to say that first off.
Thanks. I definitely feel like in the last 2 years, like all the hard work I've done has finally like
Yeah.
culminated into like a final product. Because when I did that IFBB show, I started prep really good and I was going well. And then 10 weeks out hit, I decided I was going to propose to my partner. And I started trying to save money. So I was working. I literally wasn't sleeping. I was doing like 12-hour back-to-back shifts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was training. I didn't miss a training session until like about 4 weeks out. But I was just getting weaker and weaker and weaker. And then I did like 100 hours from like 4 to 3 weeks out because there was this festival in surfers on. And we were going to America. We're going to go to Vegas.
Mm.
And I was like, I'll propose in Vegas. And I paid for this like a helicopter flight into the Grand Canyon.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
oh, bro, I burned through so much money. You had to buy a ring as well.
Yeah,
Something had to suffer, and it was my physique.
yeah,
And then by the time I competed, I remember being backstage, bro. I ate ice cream. I ate a whole like ice cream the day before the night before, and my partner like walked in to the like me in the freezer, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I remember just like breaking down. I was like, "I don't want to do this comp. Like,
yeah,
I'm not where I want to be, and my physique's just gotten way worse."
yeah, yeah.
And because I did the show before that, I did a NABBA show, and I
Mm.
honestly I was really really happy with the final product. I lost to the overall winner by like half a point,
Yeah.
so I like no complaints. And after coming from such a like a high from doing really well that prep, and then experiencing such a low, like that was probably the lowest I've ever felt. I was backstage, bro, texting like Brittany, like, oh, I want to go home. I didn't want to step on stage, like.
Yeah.
Then obviously I went out and competed anyway and just tried to make the most of it. I just like, you know what, like it's gonna be stage experience. And so I went out there, like I still like placed in the classes I competed in, which was like it didn't mean anything to me because I hated how it looked.
Yeah.
And then I stepped off stage and I spent the next like 2 years, bro, until I could be in FMG, just fucking grinding because I hated myself. I hated myself for I was so embarrassed. Like just looking at those photos, and every time like I was feeling like like lazy, I just look at the photos and I'd just be so ashamed. I had to prove to myself that that wasn't me, and I had to prove to myself that I could do better. And the FMG prep was it had its ups and downs. Like I tore my pec for
Yeah.
like 6 weeks out, but I still like no prep's going to be perfect. So I was really happy with the final product, and I feel like I definitely like it made me feel better from the
Yeah. Yeah.
last prep.
Redeemed yourself.
Yeah,
Put it.
the
Yeah.
redemption was there.
Yeah. What? So, okay. Well, first off, were you working with your coach during that IFBB show, or were you doing it by yourself?
I was with I was getting coached by Blake Sinclair.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was getting coached by Blake, but there was nothing Blake could have done that would have made that prep better. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
like I tell him like, oh, I'm sleeping 3 hours a night, like I'm like it was all self-sabotage by me,
Yeah.
and Blake did exceptionally well with me the previous NABA comp and in those FMG comps. So obviously the like I can only take responsibility for
Yeah.
my like errors,
Yeah.
not him. And he's been a exceptional coach to me, and like all I can say is like thank you to him.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I
No.
like yeah.
I didn't think like it was like his fault or anything like that. Like I know you guys are close, and I know he's like a great coach, and he's like a pro in FMG as well. So it was more just I was wondering how like because I wasn't too sure if you were working with because I know you'd worked with him for the pro win and for the pro show. So it was just more kind of looking at like was there any point in any discussion between you both about like pulling out or like you said because you knew you kind of weren't I guess as an athlete there mentally. So how did you, I guess,
I guess I didn't want to be a quitter, because I feel like if
yeah,
I quit once. It's like if you're prepping for a show and you cheat on your diet once,
yeah,
then you're going to cheat on your diet again. I felt if I pulled out once, then it was going to become a factor. Then I'm a pull out king, and every time it gets hard, I'm going to pull out.
yeah,
And I don't want to be that guy. And I said to myself, just push through the pain and get to the final, and things will be better. Like next, like this is just a learning curve.
mm,
And so I did it like that, and like I said, even though like I wasn't my best, like nowhere near, but it made me a better athlete. It made me appreciate prep more because the next time I prepped, I was like, oh, I feel good. I don't feel horrible,
yeah, yeah,
Like, and I knew what it really felt like to be prepping on like zero sleep. So I get like 7 hours sleep. I'm like, today's gonna be a good day,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
You really appreciate those smaller things that you don't until they're like you've actually really suffered without them.
yeah. So it was a character building.
Yeah. What do you think was like at the end of it the biggest takeaway that you've kind of now solidified into who you are as an athlete? Like what from the lowest lows in that prep and the learning of the self-sabotage and like kind of pursuing something else but then also not wanting to quit. What was like kind of the mental strength and mindsets that you kind of took from that?
The biggest thing that I have like achieved, I believe, is just the ability to like trust myself and believe in myself because it's bodybuilding is such a like you look online and you see people look amazing and they might not look better than you and they've just edited their photos, but you always have that self-doubt.
Yeah.
And I always had such large self-doubt, and I think that the biggest thing that I've achieved mentally from the highs and the lows is I went into that first FMG comp with no self belief, Then I did did quite well, and then I did the worlds, did quite well, and I think that I finally now, after seeing what I can look like at my best, I have self belief, and it just makes me better, like forces me to train harder, like just that not arrogance, but that confidence, that I like think yourself, I can do this, It just carries you a little bit like further.
Definitely. I agree. I think that's something that like surprising a lot of athletes lack is that I think sometimes we have the ability to kind of like we're hungry for it and we want to push ourselves, we want to achieve, but then there's that lack of like self-confidence that I guess we all kind of face because of the sport and the industry and like because we're constantly looking online and looking at other athletes and seeing people that are ahead of us or that are doing what they're showing how well their prep is, but then we're maybe struggling with it, and so then it feeds that like uncertainty and lack of confidence where like what you said, once you kind of tap in and kind of go, know what, I am confident, I am happy, I am content, I am able to keep going, that it allows you to carry yourself at a higher level and then perform better in all aspects. You're able to push yourself better in the gym. You're able to be more adherent to, your diet and everything and listen to your coach.
The past comp too, I really had to like sit down and look at myself because I was at the point where I'm like, is this for me anymore?
Mm,
And I thought to myself, why am I doing this? Like, am I doing this? Like, what's like, why do I want to do this? Do I want to do this to win or do I want to do this for me? And once I sat down and really like just thought within myself what I want, it's for me. It's not to win.
mm,
So I don't care if I come first. I don't care if I come last. Like I just want to be the best version of myself. So then I go into the comp. I'm not worried about losing. Who cares if I lose? I'm worried about being the best version of myself. So it takes so much pressure off me because I sat down and just decided that I'm not doing this because I want to beat like fucking old mate who looks like a 10 out of 10 on Instagram, there's no pressure for me to beat that guy anymore
yeah,
because if I beat him, that's cool. If I don't beat him, like, you look awesome, bro. Congratulations. Like, it's really just, I think, maturing because there's so much insecurity around bodybuilding.
yeah,
And I was definitely insecure when I first started training when I was like younger. And that's why I started, I was embarrassed about how I looked. I was small, I was skinny, you know, not that it like made me tough or anything. I just wanted to like feel better about myself. And the hard part about bodybuilding is when you go into it and then you feel a bit better about yourself, but then you compare yourself to others and then you go, oh, I feel shit again.
yeah,
So it's just maturing and being like, I'm happy with me, like I'm happy for other people as well.
yeah,
Like it's awesome that you look awesome, bro. Like
yeah,
I'm trying to be my best as well. So like and then like cheering for other people, like
yeah,
if like for example, if I'm competing against someone, like I'll be talking to them like you look awesome, bro, when they post their check-in, like cheering each other on. Because at the end of the day, bro, we're competing for a little plastic trophy. Like people get so worked up, like I'm gonna posting random quotes like I'm gonna kill this person or like I can't be like defeated and stuff. And it's like,
yeah,
man, like we're all here. This is such a niche sport. We can't go around hating on each other.
yeah,
We're all into the same thing. We all spend our spare time at the gym. We all have probably no other hobbies. We're all probably shy, but we try and like act tough on the outside. So like it's just really silly to try and like put other people down that are exactly like you, you know?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it's definitely like, again, it's like I've been saying this for a while now. I think unfortunately the side effect of bodybuilding and fitness becoming so mainstream and like everyone wanting to kind of make a name for themselves online and present themselves a certain way, and it's just then negatively trickled down into, yeah, the lack of security, wanting to kind of show up, not who they are or how they are, and show up in a different way online. So they'd be throwing out these random like quotes and saying all these things, and like like it's like that cliche of like someone who's like 18 weeks out or just finished their show, and it's like, I'm ready for war. I'm coming next season. You wait. And it's just like, how about you be present and enjoy the hard work that you just completed and being able to step on stage, because you're in a percentage of people that is so small, but we feel like it's so many of us because we're just seeing it and that's who we associate with online.
You know what I like find hilarious? So if you watch, for example, Olympia videos, right? All the pros backstage are like giving each other hugs, like high fives, like what's going on, man? Like, and then we got amateur bodybuilding, which there's no money on the line. There's nothing on the line. You're just hating on people for no reason,
Yeah.
like trying to staunch people out of the gym because you're competing against them. It's like what the like if you have the professionals who are actually competing for something, like this is their career, this is the money to feed their family, like this is everything to them. And they're over there giving the guy they're competing against is going to take that away from them a hug because they're just happy to be there. They get to like have a career and make money of what they love.
Mm.
And you're here with $0 in your bank account. Like spending your money on like drugs, hating on some guy over there who's just happy to be there. Like it's crazy to me.
Yeah. It is. It sucks, but I think like we're definitely slowly changing that now. I think bodybuilding
100%. I agree with you.
slowly starting
Yeah.
to kind of move in that better direction now, which it's amazing to see that. I think the community is slowly, there's so many good advocates now towards pushing that more positive mindset, more camaraderie, and just that more community base, which is so great to see.
I definitely feel like bodybuilding is turning into more of a team sport, like you're saying, and it's definitely helped growing the industry. You know,
100%. What, so with then coming into, okay, let's just have a quick look at that, like that 2 year gap. So, for you it was really about that redemption and proving to yourself and having that reflection and going, I'm doing this for me, and that having that as that driving force to go, I'm going to present a package that I know that I can bring and I'm going to be happy with because I'm going to pull my all like into this growth season and this prep. um how did how did that kind of shape, I guess, the way you trained, the way you so did you continue working with Blake throughout that off season, or did you kind of step away, do a little bit with yourself and then go back, or
for my off season, it's extremely difficult to be coach with my rotating roster
yeah,
because there's no diet you can follow. Because sometimes I'm awake for like literally 8 hours a day because I'm switching over from like day shift to night shift. And I'll wake up at 4 p.m. I got a 6 a.m. start like the next day. So
yeah,
I got to go to bed soon. So how am I going to fit like 5,000 calories in that day? And the roster changes so much. We're on like 30 lines. So each fortnight, you just move down your line. So it's never consistent. It's never the
yeah,
same. So it makes it so difficult. So what me and Blake are going to do this off season is I'm going to check in with him every like 5 to 10 weeks. We're just going to see roughly because obviously I'm fully qualified to coach as well, so I know what I'm doing.
yeah.
So I'll just check in with him. We'll just assess how my body fat is, and I'll just focus on getting food in and increasing my training performance over the time I don't see him. And then when prep starts, it's like straight locked in into seeing him because Blake only lives like 50 meters from me.
Oh yeah, that's
There's a lot
cool. That's
yeah,
handy. Handy.
yeah. So yeah, I'll check it every like I think we start prep every fortnight. We check in the last 10 weeks. We check in every week.
Yeah. So how do you navigate if okay, that's the thing. So in that 2 year period when you like, growing, how did you navigate the increase in calories? Like you said, you'd have moments where you could barely get any food in. So what was the like plan that you did to kind of make sure you could continue to steadily grow?
So in the days that I can get all my meals in, it's easy. I do it.
Yeah.
In the days that I can't, it's cheat meal time, like
Okay.
hardcore cheat
Yeah.
meals, and I just make sure I hit my protein target, and I might even eat a bit more food the day before and the day after because I know that my calorie consumption will be less over the like half day,
Oh yeah,
so it
yeah.
all evens out over the week.
Yeah, so you okay, that makes sense. So the basically the way you mitigate kind of that lack of consistency is through just kind of looking at that overall average target over the week.
Yeah, you can't just think of it as day
Yeah,
to
yeah,
day. You have to take a step back and look overall. But one of the biggest issues though with the rotating roster is when you don't sleep, because I'll work night shift. I'll get to bed at like 7 a.m. I'll wake up at like 9:30 and I just can't go back to sleep.
that
And
sucks.
and then I might sleep for like 3 hours in the afternoon.
Yeah,
And the biggest issue when you have to eat a lot of food is when I don't sleep, my digestion just tanks like
yeah,
hardcore. And then I
yeah,
can't get meals in. So it's so difficult, like fatigue wise, like without like it's that's just something you got to deal with. But the digestion issue is so frustrating for me.
Yeah.
So I'm
That's
taking every digestional product under the sun, to try and counteract it.
yeah, that's difficult. I know what you mean. I'm like that too. If I've like gone, had really poor sleep multiple days in a row, it's like all of a sudden it's like I can tell my digestion starts to like play up a bit, and it's like fuck. So you're like trying to work out how to like get it all back together. How do you? So then what was kind of like you said, you're doing you so that's how you manage the food. Then how did you kind of manage your fatigue? Because obviously, like you said, there is a point where you kind of got to push past it because you can't really do anything about the lack of sleep. But was there other ways, whether it was in your training, with the way you kind of did your split or the volume, or just extra recovery, more massages? How did you kind of approach that?
So I was hitting everything upper body twice a week and legs once a week.
Yeah,
Um, and I was pretty lucky because my legs just seem to grow off doing nothing. So it's good. So I
yeah,
can just prioritize upper body.
yeah,
But like the biggest thing is like learning, like am I like, I don't want to say being a bitch, but like am I just crying because I'm tired, or
yeah,
am I actually fatigued?
yeah,
And once you learn when you're actually fatigued, because I know if I go into the gym fatigued, the first set I'll be like, no, I'm going home.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And it's like learning to, but I've already taken pre-work and everything by then, and this is extra fatigue that I don't want to have.
yeah,
So it's just like feeling like, do I need another rest day? And if I need another rest day, take another rest day. It's not
yeah,
the end of the world. With bodybuilding, bro, the less you stress, the better you're going to look.
yeah,
So it's just being like maybe being more confident and trusting myself and knowing I can push through today. Today's
yeah,
fine. Or just being, I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna be up for 2 hours and go straight to bed.
yeah.
I'm gonna get a good sleep tonight.
I like that. I like that a lot, actually, what you just said, because there's been a lot of not okay. There's been quite a bit of talk lately within like fatigue management and stuff like that. But putting that aside, it's like um, the training intensity being a skill, and I think that also then correlates to kind of what you're saying, and obviously it's individual specific, but also kind of understanding your own recovery and fatigue abilities, I think is also a skill. Like you said, kind of going, oh, hold up a minute, am I being a little bitch? Or like, no, actually, I know that this is actually just going to push me in the ground, and actually having another day rest or another 2 days rest is actually going to be way more optimal for growth and recovery.
Well, if I go in there and try and grind it out and it's not there, then I have to take even more time off because, well, I can't train tomorrow.
Yeah,
And bro, I swear I got autism. I'm so like with the I just logbook everything.
yeah,
Like so, I do my first set, and I can tell by the weight and reps that if it's there and if it's not there, I'm going through everything. I'm in my head. I'm like, am I hydrated? Have I slept?
yeah,
What my meals did? And if I've missed like 100 grams of rice a day before, I'm like, oh, and this is driving me crazy. Yeah, but I pick it straight away. I know exactly
yeah,
what I've gotten to that point where I know exactly what the issue was. And within 30 seconds, I'm like, I'm not hydrated. Like, I didn't drink enough water yesterday. I slept. I didn't drink enough water this morning. This is why it's wrong.
yeah. Mm,
Or I can just say, if I go through everything, I was fatigued and I thought I could handle it. I can't handle it. Time to go home.
yeah.
You know?
That's important. I think that's important. I hope anyone that's like listening kind of takes that away and like applies that to themselves, or even anyone who does like what you said, like rotating rosters and split shifts and night work and that. I think because it is just such an important skill to learn how to really evaluate, because all it does is just going to end up making you a better athlete in the long run.
100%. Learning your body and like, just learning to trust yourself is so, so important. I feel like with whatever sport you're doing,
Yeah,
even when you're dealing with little like niggles, there's like my pec's a little bit sore, like my elbow's a little bit sore. Like, how can I navigate this today?
yeah,
And then coming out the other side without injuring yourself more and letting that whatever wrong rest,
yeah,
you know?
definitely, definitely. So speaking of injuries and tearing your pec and doing that like within the prep, how did that, where obviously that would not have been an enjoyable moment. How did you kind of, I guess, like navigate that? What was like the plan? Was that a concern to kind of go, am I going to have to pull out, or did that no quit mentality kick in and it was just kind of how can we reduce everything to keep it looking good?
Bro, that was a shit show, honestly. So I remember at the hospital, um, When it happened, it wasn't the patient's fault. The patient had dementia, and they were a large elderly gentleman, and they were trying to walk into someone's room, but they were attacking people essentially.
Yeah.
So I stopped them from walking in the room, and then me and him kind of had a like
Scuffle.
altercation,
Yeah.
and he's tried to punch me, and I just grabbed his arm and twisted. So we there was no like actual physical violence there
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I stopped him before he punched me. But as I braced, my other pec that I braced with is the one that's torn,
Yeah.
and I could feel it at the time, and I was like, oh god, like. And then we put the patient took the patient to his room, put him on the bed, and the CTC, who's like the like clinical nurse in charge, um, was like, "Is everyone okay?" And I was just thinking like, "No," and I was like, "Nah, I'm not okay." So I had to go to emergency.
Yeah.
I got a scan and stuff. Um, I went, to be honest, bro. Like there was a lot of emotional build up to this prep because, like I said, it was redemption for me. It
Mm.
meant so much to me, and all the boys at work are really supportive and like the staff at the hospital are honestly so amazing. You know, they took amazing care of me. The doctor that checked me out was awesome. Um, those guys cop so much abuse at the hospital. So
Yeah.
like, shout out to you guys
Yeah.
at emergency at the hospital. But I it it was a lot to take in at the time, and I didn't want to really process it until I was out of there. You
Mm.
know, because I don't want the boys at work to see me like distressed.
Yeah.
You
Yeah. Yeah.
know, and or anyone really. You know, it's like a because we're a team. You know,
Yeah.
you don't want your team to see you when you're down. So I remember the doctor said go to the physio and get assessed. So I was like, okay. Um, went home that night. I was driving home. I called Blake. Um, and I was just having a mental breakdown. Like I didn't know what to do. I didn't know like because there's so many things going through your mind. You know, like should I pull out? Like what do I do? And I called Blake. I had a little like not a cry, but like just unwind to Blake.
Yeah.
Blake says like don't pull out. You know, you're like we are really lean at this point. So it was lucky that I didn't have much to lose at that point. So we didn't have to like pull off a lot of tissue
Yeah.
anyway when I couldn't train it. So then my partner got home. I unload on her like, well, my life's over. You know, my life's not over. This is
Yeah.
a rough day. And then I call my two best friends, and because I wanted just a few different opinions. You know,
Yeah.
like what do you guys think? And everyone said, "You're there, bro. You know, just hold on." So I had to get my steps in for the day because I still had like 5,000 steps to do. And Brittany was like, "Do you want me to come with you?" And I was like, "No, like I just need to do this on my own. I need to get through this on my own.
Yeah.
When I come home, you know, like we'll talk then, you know."
Yeah.
So I just went for I didn't even have any headphones in, bro. I just went for a walk and I just was with my own thoughts. And it was just me dealing with it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, all right,
Reflecting.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not going to be my best. That's okay, you know. Like,
Mm.
no prep's perfect, you know. And I was thinking to myself, like, I'm so lucky to be even able to compete. You know, like how
Yeah.
many people wish they were like in that position? You
Yeah.
know, like instead of thinking like a victim mindset, like I was like, you know what, like fuck this. I'm not going to be a victim. I'm just going to do the best I can because it's a privilege to compete.
Mm.
You know, it's a privilege to be able to do what I love. So
Yeah.
I was like, you know what, I'm sweet. So I got home. Um, I connected with the physio, and he said come in tomorrow, and I was like, sweet. So I woke up in a better mindset. I went to sleep fine, to be honest. Slept like a baby. I was like, sort of an emotionally stressful day, you know, like
Yeah.
it's, yeah, like
Perfect
I woke
sleep.
up, yeah, I woke up, went to the physio in the morning. Luckily, he had a spot for me. Um, and we went through it, and he's like, yeah, and I was like, it is what it is,
Yeah.
you know, and I said, what will it take for me to compete? You know, like clear me on what I can do and tell me what I can't do, and I'll make it work.
Mm.
And I said to him like, because I'm a work cover at this point because I can't work,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I said, can you clear me to compete? And he said, I'll clear you to compete because you can. And by the time comp comes around, you'll be able to pump up with like some bands and stuff.
Yeah.
So you're not going to do anything that's going to hurt yourself, you know. And I'm like, sweet. So we spend like 40 minutes going through what I can do and what I can't do with the gym. For example, like a regular pull down, it hurts your chest because you
Yeah.
like push your chest up, and I couldn't do that, so I had to do like a variation, which I prefer anyway. Of when you like do like a neutral grip pull down,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, and it was like that. I obviously couldn't do any like shoulder presses or chest presses, and I just worked around it. I just did what I could do. Kept seeing the physio, kept trying to be the best version of myself, and kept that positive mindset. And then like comp day came around. I didn't care about how I was going to place because like I made it.
Mm.
That's all that mattered. And then I won, and I was like, sweet, like this is like just part of the journey. Like how cool. And then I did worlds, not going in expecting to win that either, and I ended up winning worlds, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like what a cool day. So like everything worked out in the end, and I feel like just because I was positive about it, like if I think back and I'm like, if I pulled out, I never would have had the opportunity to like do any of that,
Yeah,
you know.
literally.
And even like when I did the New Zealand show, like it was awesome traveling and competing.
Yeah.
Like we went to Hobbiton the next day after the
Yeah, that's
show,
sick.
like, and I love Lord of the Rings. I'm like a
Yeah.
massive Lord of the Rings fan.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
I think that's like, well, there's a bit to unpack there, but like first off, like I think that's like actually like what makes like I think the point of being a pro and kind of like makes it fun is like the idea of like, and obviously you can still travel and compete when you're an amateur, but it's like I think that kind of makes what makes bodybuilding fun. It's like there's not other sports where you can necessarily, unless you play professionally, kind of travel and play like that, where like bodybuilding, oh cool, I want to go to Asia, I want to go to America, I want to go to Europe, I can go compete, and it just makes the whole experience so much fun and enjoyable. And then you're meeting, whether you're going with other people that are from Australia, and then you're also then meeting other competitors that you'd never normally get the opportunity to like stand against. So I think that's really cool that it worked out in that way, that you got to experience that.
It was the first like comp. I felt the same with the Worlds comp too. It was the first comp where I got to actually feel like I was present in the moment.
Yeah.
Like the nerves for the last few comps I did were just so high,
Mm.
so much pressure on myself. Whereas this one, like I was just happy I made it. So there was no
Yeah.
pressure on me, there was no nerves. Like I just like went in there and I got to like live in the moment, and I can think back now fondly and think about me enjoying the moment. Whereas the other comps, the pressure was so high, I couldn't even get a pump because I was so
Mm.
nervous. Whereas like this time, I was chilling backstage, had my legs up. I was doing a podcast, like watching some anime, like just
Yeah.
chilling out.
Like that's what you want though. That's the goal. I think like that's something that's talked about heaps in bodybuilding too, is too many athletes have so much pressure and they're not being present, and all of a sudden, their 5, 10 year career is just like gone and they don't remember any of it because they were like never present because they're always about like the win or the next show or what can I, or oh my God, I can't wait to like, start like growing for my next season to get back on stage. It's like, how about you just enjoy being on stage in that moment? Because like you never know what could happen. If that could be your last one.
Even just like it's so much better to meet people too.
Yeah.
Like if you're just closed off in the corner of the room, like not being staunch, but like being nervous.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you don't get to like really like enjoy the day with other people as well. Like at Worlds, bro, me and the boys I was competing against, we're all pumping up with each other. Like, oh, we were like helping each other pump up.
That's
We were
so good.
just like happy to be there.
Yeah,
Where
making it makes it more fun.
yeah, and it like I said, you're meeting people that share the same passion as you, so it's only benefiting you.
What I think's like really cool too is, and I think, it's funny actually, it seems to be a trend at the moment with quite a few of the guests that I've had on is, you know, their maturity growth within bodybuilding and as an athlete, and then how that has kind of translated into whether we say full circle moments or just those really rewarding times that may not have happened in the past. Like for example, for yourself, you're going through that really hard, prep and the IFB show and it not going well, having that, determination to and grit to do what needs to be done, redeem yourself, put in the work, and then, tearing your pec. But then because of the growth and attitude and mindset change that you've had, and then kind of learning to change, reflect, and go, you know what, it is okay, it's going to be okay. Everyone around me says I'm at it, I'm good. Just kind of do what needs to be done and finish strong. like you said, if you quit, you would have never have won. You would never have went to New Zealand. You would never have won the world. Where it's like because all the growth that you've made, you've gone. You know what? It's going to be fine. You finish strong, and it's like I almost think that because you decided to keep going, like that's why you actually won. Like you know what I mean? It's kind of like that universe kind of giving it back to you, because you've like aligned yourself. We'll word it that way.
Yeah, it definitely like because like I said, when I was deciding to do those comps, I was thinking this could be my last one,
Yeah.
like, and then it really ignited that fire back in me because I never thought that I was that good, I never thought
Mm.
that I had too much like potential, but when I competed in that show, it made me feel like, oh, I'm not too bad,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, like I can do more comps, see where
yeah.
this goes.
It's funny that you say that because I remember like a few times, like especially when I first like created Oz Bodybuilding Hub and that. And sending some DMs and that to each other. And it's like I always could see like it's like I could see your potential, and it's like but I could see that you didn't believe in yourself then. And it's like so cool to kind of like hear you speak now and like kind of say that you can kind of finally see that potential that you kind of always had in yourself, and now it's fell into place. Because like I 100% think you have like a really great physique. Like you definitely have what it takes, to continue to like, and that was what my next question was. Like, what is like your long-term goals within like, do you want to eventually come back to the IFBB? Do you want to stay in FMG and win quite a few worlds? Because I think you have that potential to, stack on some like, wins. When you think about what I think about obviously was WBFF back in the day, but like, I kind of see you and your physique in similar light to someone like, Matt O'Reilly, who like, took out so many like he was undefeated in WBFF.
Um, Look, FMG definitely has some awesome athletes,
Yeah.
more so on the female side. Like, it's got Hattie Boyle,
Yeah.
um, Asha Kutcher, Sinead Deco. Like, the male side definitely hasn't caught up yet with the like crazy standard of females. And I would like to like do a few more FMG shows, and really support the federation because like they treat us awesomely backstage. Like the whole process, like they're really good to you. Um, Not that IFBB aren't good to you,
Yeah.
but I definitely feel like you get lost in the crowd a lot more in the IFBB
Yeah.
shows, where like FMG is a bit more for the athletes, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in saying that though, like IFBB's Olympia, like it's amazing, like you'd be stupid to hate on IFBB,
Yeah.
like that's what everyone's heroes are from,
Yeah.
So like the IFBB is always in the back of my mind, like I would love to get my IFBB pro card one day. So like I'm never going to rule that out. Like I feel like there's before I retire, there'll definitely be a IFBB comp in my future, But for now, like I'm having fun in FMG, and the thing is, I'm improving while I'm still in FMG. Like
Mm.
it's good for my like I'm building my physique, I'm improving myself. Like it's good for my coaching business. Like, and I love the way they treat me. They treat the athletes.
Yeah.
So you'll definitely see me back on the FMG stage, but you'll definitely see me in the IBB stage down the
Yeah.
track as well.
Exciting. I think it's interesting. Like there's been a I think it's good for bodybuilding, and I think it's good for athletes. And I think it's like it's hard. It's interesting. It's like that's what you said. Spot on. IFBB is like it is. It's the mother. Like it's the Olympia. It's the only way you can get to that where all our heroes who we look up to is there. But I think it's also nice to kind of see other federations kind of really stepping up and giving opportunities maybe to people who are getting lost in the crowd within IFBB to kind of come over to that federation. Like I know PCA is doing a really good job with their athletes, and it's like the same thing with was it the ANB like what stand Body Beyond, and he became a pro and he went over and competed in Korea. Like I think it was the A and B, like that's going really well too. So it's like nice to hear that there are kind of federations now, because that was the thing. It was like from what I understood back in the day, it was like all those little other federations were just like not quite there yet, but it's good to kind of see as a whole everything's being elevated upwards.
Another thing too, bro, is like FMG and IPV like aren't the same.
Yeah,
Like for example, the muscle class that I am in, you could argue that's the same as IFBB for sure.
yeah,
But the other classes, it's like a different physique, a different look.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And the posing's a lot different too. So it might be suited to someone who likes the pose and like I'm not really a smiley type of guy, man. But people that love the stage, like FMG would be awesome for them,
yeah, yeah,
because they get up there, they hit their poses, they smile, like they might look like a model. I don't. Like they live for that. Like awesome. Like,
yeah,
go do
yeah, yeah.
you. Like do what makes you happy. That's might be what you love. I'm kind of like just get up there and all I care about is my physique.
Mm,
Like that the physique is like I'm like I want my hard work shown off.
yeah,
Like not my
exactly.
smile. Like
Yeah, I know what you
but
mean.
yeah. But
So,
again, bro, like oh sorry, like
no, 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 go, yeah,
I support all bodybuilding.
yeah,
You're never going to catch me hating on any bodybuilding.
yeah,
But like, I also support all the boys doing IFBB. I support all the boys doing NABA, like FMG. Like, we're all in the same like pool.
mm,
Like, why would you be hate? Like, and I hate to say it, bro, but like when I did that FMG show, like one person hated towards me directly, who was an IFBB pro. Not that I care. Like, whatever makes you happy, bro. But like some people, like they try and shit on each other, like, oh,
yeah,
I do this, I'm better than you, and it's like, guys, like we're all part of the same team
yeah,
here. We're all competing for a plastic trophy.
agreed,
Like just
agreed.
support each other. It's not
It's
hard.
like let's like unless you're a pro and you're making your way to the Olympia, it's like, we're all one big community. It's just a sport. Doesn't matter what federation. Like, let's support each other, like you said. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I like. What other sport are you hating on other people for doing? Like in boxing, someone's doing a different boxing like federation. You're like that guy's a loser. Like
Yeah.
what? It's the same
Crazy,
stuff.
crazy talk. Just people wanting to show off and, taking prestige too far to just make themselves feel better, unfortunately.
Yeah, and the worst part about it, bro, it's like someone might be like, say if someone's hating on me, I can objectively look at them and be like, bro, you look awesome. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't bother me.
Makes you the bigger person.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, like I said, like it's just a plastic trophy,
Yeah.
unless you're Olympia level, which I guarantee you don't have that mindset. You're all about like professionalism,
Yeah, yeah.
you know?
Definitely, definitely, definitely. So I'd love to do two questions before we wrap things up. I'd love to just kind of hear how bodybuilding has, because you've dedicated so much time to it and it is a passion and a hobby, how would you say, pre bodybuilding, how has, the way you perceive life changed?
This is a really hard question, bro, because I've been training since I was like 15.
Yeah.
And I actually said to Brittany yesterday, I was like, what, when we were driving to gym, I said, if we weren't doing gym, what would we be doing right now? Like, because I don't like drinking. I don't like,
Yeah.
unfortunately, my mom's quite a heavy drinker. And so I was always surrounded by like that, and I didn't want to be part of that. And then I obviously worked at the clubs as a bouncer, so like I wouldn't be out drinking. Like I don't know what I'd be doing. Like this is just me. This is
Yeah.
all I know. You know, um, but I don't know. Bodybuilding shaped me like my whole life. Even my training has changed like and matured since I was like 15 to like 21 or 23, and then like I used to train with just emotional rage, bro. Like just hardcore. Like I don't care if I die,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. And then when I started like seeing my current partner, and I got my dog and stuff. Like I got shit to live for now. I'm not thinking like I don't care if I die. I'm like, oh, I got a nice family to go home to,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So like I've had to like mentally like reset my brain into like being like I'm doing this, to make them proud.
Yeah.
Like I'm not doing this because like I want to be the man. I want to like do like I hate everyone. I want to
Yeah.
unleash because it was just like training back in the day, bro. Like it was just ultimate fatigue sets, just trying to
Yeah.
like unleash all the pain I had inside, unleash all like my childhood trauma.
Yeah.
And now I train because I love it and I train because I enjoy it. And I did love it and enjoy it back then, but it was for different reasons,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you know? So
I,
like
I like that. I like that.
yeah. So
Like
I don't know. Bodybuilding shaped me more and more in ways that I didn't think it would. Like
yeah,
the older I've gotten.
I think like what you said is like it's kind of like you always try or have always trained hard and enjoyed training, but it's like the purpose behind the training, and then it kind of like gives that different perspective um on the way, yeah, that you view life. Like you said back then, training hard, like it's like I'll put 6 plates on, I'm just gonna send. If I die, I die. Like I'm going to war. Now it's like, I'm 6 plates on, but you know what? I'm doing this for my family. I'm doing this for my dog, for my partner. I'm doing this for myself because I want to be a better person. And it's like it then that shapes your day-to-day life and the way that you kind of train and diet as an athlete and as a person. So I like that. I think that's really cool. It's a good way to describe it.
Yeah, and like even when I like prep and stuff, like if I don't feel like doing cardio, like before it was like I gotta win, like fuck the other guys. But now it's like can't let everyone down. Because my partner's cooking all my meals. My friends are like understanding that like I can't do that much social stuff. Like
Yeah.
everyone's putting themselves like aside for me,
Yeah,
So
yeah,
well, I
yeah.
can't afford to slack off. Like
Yeah.
that's bad.
100%. It's like that switch where you kind of realize that, you're it's like where that selfish intent was there, where it's kind of like now you're realizing that you people are accommodating to what it is, and that is somewhat selfish, but then you're giving back to them by, doing your absolute best.
Yeah, especially like in prep, bro. Like I work with a lot of older guards, and they're asking me 1,000 questions. This one guard in particular, he's the nicest guy, but
Yeah,
I reckon he asked me, "Is it good to take creatine like 10 times in the space of like once a week?" And we have the
that's
same
crazy.
conversation, and I was like, "Oh my god!" But like they're just being supportive,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like they're just fine, Like I would never like take out how if I'm feeling tired and like exhausted and I wouldn't take that out on my friends. I wouldn't take that out on the patients at work because, like I said, it's
Yeah.
a privilege to compete. So if you're just too selfish and you think like, oh, I'm tired, I'm this, I'm that, it's like, bro, like, don't
It's
do
not
it then.
Yeah, it's not for you.
You know,
Go do something else.
yeah. If
100%.
you can't cop it, like pull out.
Yeah, yeah. All right, last question. What were your three biggest lessons and takeaways from this year that you're kind of gonna bring into, next year?
I've even thought about it, bro. Like to be honest, I just try and win each day,
Yeah,
and that's how I live life.
yeah,
Like I'm like wake up in the morning, what have I got to do today? I'm gonna take my dog to the beach, make her day. I'm gonna like smash out my PT work. I'm gonna go work at the hospital, and like I'm gonna make sure my partner knows I love her. Like so like I don't know if it's just my brain or like I don't think about long-term stuff.
yeah,
Like I have kind of an idea. Like I'm like, all right, I want to compete end of next year.
yeah,
That's a goal of mine. But I'm not thinking about it constantly. All I think about is the day, you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
and I don't even think about tomorrow until the time comes to think about tomorrow. And that's the way I like to live my life because then I feel like I make the most of each day.
yeah.
Whereas if I spend the day thinking about tomorrow or thinking about in a week's time or 2 weeks' time, I don't actually get to enjoy the day I'm in.
That's so underrated. No, that's like actually like that's a good reminder for myself, and I think that's like an amazing answer. Like seriously, I think it is so difficult in this day and age to be present, and like we're always trying to be better, and sometimes when we try and be better or win the day, we then get lost in that, where it really sounds like you've kind of mastered that middle ground of going, well, I'm going to win the day, which is going to progress me, but I'm also going to make sure that, I'm being present in the day. So it's like, like you said, whether it's taking your dog to the beach and she's going to enjoy that walk, making sure your partner knows that that you love her, like all those little things. And then you're also kind of putting those other people first, where I think sometimes we can be selfish in trying to, you know, cater to those 1% to be better and then get lost in it.
And bro, because since I work at the hospital, like in emergency, I've seen so many people die, man. Whether it's
Yeah,
like someone gets hit on their motorbike like once a week and dies, like the car accidents, like I just seen so much trauma. So I don't even know I'm going to make it to next week.
yeah,
So I'm going to worry about something that's a month away. What about today? I might not make it to next month. And then what? Say I get hit by a car tomorrow. I can't do anything I planned. I should have made the most of the day.
Yeah, that's such a good like shift in perspective because like obviously it's not good that you I guess gotta see that and experience that, but I like guess it helps you remind you to stay grounded and take life not take life for granted. I think sometimes it's good to see those negative things about life to help remind you to enjoy life and to be more present and to be more grateful.
Yeah, it's just and I see people like at work whose life's fallen apart. Like,
Yeah,
it definitely does, like as horrible as it is, it definitely does make you grateful for the life that you live, Even like seeing homeless people, bro, and like I'm happy that I have a job,
hmm,
I'm happy that I can put food on the table, Like doing bodybuilding is even a bigger perk, How many
yeah,
people get to go to the gym and eat like meals they want and stuff? Like I'm not living on $2 a day, So like everything in my life is a gift. So
yeah.
I got to treat it that way. Otherwise, like who knows when that's going to get taken out from underneath
Hmm.
me.
So very true. So very true. Now, I love that mindset. I hope everybody listening can apply that and reflect and go, am I being more present? Am I being more grateful? Because it is so underrated. And it's like, yeah, you can just tell, like, it's crazy. Like, you can tell even just going about your day, interacting with people at the gym, interacting people at the shops, interacting anybody. You can tell when someone's like not taking life for granted. I mean, is taking life for granted and not being present. Like, it's like they've just got like this arrogance to them and it's just like you don't know hardship or it's like you are not or it's like you have things that like you should be more grateful for and it's like it's hard I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah, even little things, bro. Like, say you're out at the shops and an elderly person smiles at you, smile back.
Yeah,
Don't because this might be their only outing of the day.
yeah,
They
literally.
might be stuck at home all week. Like, this is the highlight of their day.
Mm.
They're out of the house. They're smiling at you. Smile back. This might be the difference between them kicking the bucket or not.
Yeah, kindness is
Like,
free,
yeah,
literally.
exactly, 100%.
Always push it forward no matter what, and then that
Yeah.
kindness spreads to someone else.
Yeah, and it does. Like it's intoxicating. Like someone makes your day, and then I guarantee you're going to make someone else's day. You
Yeah,
know, it's crazy like that.
yeah,
And then suddenly
100%.
the world's a better place.
Yeah, literally domino effect.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for jumping on and having the chat. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for your time.
No, thank you for having me. This is the first like podcast I've done. I was pretty nervous, but I really enjoyed it. Honestly,
That's good.
thank
I'm
you.
glad to hear. You aced it. It's funny. I can't. I keep having to say this, but it's like it's just funny. Like everybody, nearly everybody that I've had on, it's like being like one of their first times, and it's like they then go about it as if like they're like podcast all the time. I think it's like you kind because I think when you watch podcasts and you listen to them and you kind of like build it up for something that it's like not in your head. So then when you then have to do it for yourself, you kind of like I still get nervous. Like I'm the host.
Yeah,
But it's
hats off
like
to you,
that
bro.
but then it's like as soon as it starts, like it's like, oh yeah, no, it's chill. We're just having a chat. It's like we I think we've put a little bit of pressure on the word podcast now because we associate it as much with like TV and movies. Like, that's the thing. Sometimes people are not listening to music when they go for a drive. They're listening to a podcast. Like you said, backstage before a show, you're listening to a podcast, watching anime. So I always find it nice to hear when a guest has enjoyed and you know, not felt the pressure. I guess like come on, had the pressure come on and then left going, no, that was easy. That was so much fun. I had like it was great. So I'm glad that you got to experience that.
I think though it's because like we're having like genuine conversation
Yeah.
that we're both enjoying. Like you're not sitting there and like going off a list and being like, I need to talk about something dramatic, or I need to talk about like I
Yeah.
need to like create like views, like and
Yeah.
because I hate listening to podcasts like that, like straight into it. It's something like borderline inappropriate,
Yeah.
something borderline rude. It's like shitting
Yeah.
on someone, and like
Yeah.
yeah, it gets views, but like man, come on.
Yeah. Nothing's better than a genuine conversation. And then that's like I guess just like half the reason why I do what the podcast this way because it's like yeah, it's like I could be like hitting like crazy questions, doing all this research, but it's like then it just like feels too staged. It feels lackluster. And it's like, that's not me. I rather just have like, this is bodybuilding. I want to get to know you as a person. I want to, talk about what we love and, build that positive community. So yeah,
Yeah, I
I'm
really
glad that's how
appreciate
WB
the time.
resonated well.
Yeah, I had an awesome time. Like I said, I was pretty nervous, bro. I got like a lisp, so I hate talking.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
on my Instagram, I never post videos of me talking or anything because I've been dealing with it since I was a kid. So I don't like particularly speaking,
yeah.
and like, at work it's different because it's my job,
Yeah, you kind of have to.
Yeah, but yeah, like if I like I don't go out of my way to do it.
Yeah,
So I think that's why I was like a bit uncomfortable. Like when you were messaging me to do it, I was thinking like, oh God, like should I do it? But I'm really glad I did. It made me like honestly like out of my comfort zone, and it made me feel good. So
yeah, it's
thank
good.
you.
It's good. Nah, like, look, your list not even noticeable. So, and again, I'm appreciative that you've taken the time to like come on and have the chat. So, that's amazing. So, thank you again. And I really enjoyed this, and I'm excited for everyone to listen. And I'm excited to see what I say. Hopefully, get a second world's title next year.
Well, if I do, bro, we'll have another one. All
Yes,
right, we'll we'll,
exactly.
we'll go over
We'll
it.
do a post show wrap up.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you so much, man. Enjoy the rest of your night.